yesterday.
Yeah, that was 8. Who won? Oh, or 10? Today? Oh, today the 10 at 8 o'clock. Alright, yeah, wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Good afternoon. We're a group of poets here on Scat TV, which, by the way, anyone in Somerville can become a member of for a ridiculously low membership fee. And we encourage you to come here at Scat and have your own program or just participate in wonderful programs like we have now in celebration of the Window Arts Project. The poets and writers that we will present today in celebration of the Windows Art Project are just a microcosm of the talented artistic community we have in Somerville and the local area. It is a well-known fact that community of writers, poets, etc. enrich the milieu we live in and give us a heightened sense of spaces and places, the theme of this project sponsored by the Somerville Arts Council. We want to thank SCAT for providing this group of local writers with a place to express their unique perceptions and an appreciation for Union Square, the city of Somerville, and points just beyond. I'm going to read a couple of poems, one dealing with right here in Union Square, Somerville. It was in the Somerville Journal. It's called The Pigeons of Union Square. Such strange birds, no particular pecking order, as they dance with spindly legs, tapping on the hot cobblestone for mere crumbs. They are much more honest than us, their beady, avian eyes severely focused, not even a perfunctory nod to the obvious bobbing band of beaks around them. For after all, they are only in it for the bread. And then I'm going to read a short piece from the Somerville News that I write for. Great newspaper, by the way. It's called Dozing at the Grand Cafe, Union Square. And that's right here in Union Square. It's a great place to hang. I encourage you to go there. There's something to be said about a joint where you can doze, read and write, and perhaps doze again for hours on end. I think this type of place is a necessity for any poet. And Lord knows I've looked for that place for years now. That's where the Grand Cafe comes in at 61 Union Square. One cold winter's day, I discovered this inviting cafe a mere stone's throw from my house. Shortly after entering the place, I found myself being engulfed by an old couch, slowly losing consciousness while I read a book. Management didn't seem to notice. I was just another stumblebum on the scene. Well, before you knew it, I was coming to this joint regularly. I found that I got an amazing amount of writing done, as well as clearing my head and catching a few well-earned Z's. I even penned a poem about the Grand that was published in the Somerville Journal, and I framed it and was given an honorary spot on the counter. I started placing myself at a table where I could see folks actually read my work, and believe me, that's a rare treat. I started feeling like a self-appointed poet in residence. Over time, I got to know some of the regulars, the managers, and it became an unofficial club for me. I think if a poet doesn't have a place like this, he or she is at a decided disadvantage. What makes a place like the Grand work is that it provides a refuge from the distractions of home, the email, the phone, siblings, spouse, fax, whatever. You can be relaxed, more of an observer of the scene than in the thick of it. It is one of the few places that you can comfortably daydream without being pegged as a ne'er-do-well, poseur, or some unsavory hanger-on. As I write now, well, not actually now, it's an oppressively hot summer's day. But no matter, I'm in the Grand Cafe, my feet resting on a battered coffee table, and I am slowly surrendering my consciousness as the new air conditioner drones away. So you got a problem with that? I didn't think so. Thank you very much.
My name is Adam Pachter. I'm a local writer, and my first novel, called Ash, has just been published by the Dan River Press. It's a set of short stories set along the coast of Maine, and next summer it's going to be followed by a sequel, which is tentatively titled Ember. And the story I'm about to read is not from Ash, but it's from the sequel, and it's set during an encounter at the DMV in downtown Boston. The story is called Eye Test. I knew I wouldn't like those kids, and I was right. Stupid faces, close-cropped hair. You could nearly see the scalp. Just emphasized the sharpness of their features. I didn't like them. I was sitting on the Red Line heading into downtown Boston. I always take public transportation when I can. All my liberal friends moan about welfare reform, get angry with the Republicans in Congress. When push comes to shove, they'd sooner drive naked in their Volvos than use the T. They annoy me. Not as much as these brats. I'm staring at them, can't really help myself, just imagining what sort of filth will issue from their mouths. Well, they don't make me wait long. Ashley wants me to come over tonight and do her for her birthday. Nah. Swear to God. You can ask anybody. You can ask anybody you like. You can call her up. Yeah, well, maybe I will. You go ahead. Maybe I will. It was disgusting. I was so upset I nearly missed my stop. It's funny, I'll admit, taking the T to visit the DMV. These days you can't trust the drivers in downtown Boston. And the kids who hang out under the Southeast Expressway, well, I never drive there if I can help it. I remember one Christmas time when I was in my car, just making a turn to get back on the proper route, and then a big chunk of white exploded across my windshield. There's ice scattering everywhere, and I'm half blinded. It was lucky I didn't hit a pole. For my money, they can't tear down that ugly strip of metal soon enough. That was why I was on the subway today, and that's why I heard those kids. My day hadn't begun well, and kept heading down once I reached the motor vehicles registry in Chinatown. All I needed was a simple license renewal. But of course, they couldn't separate out the lines and let those of us with minor business move more quickly than the people who had all day. All I needed for the renewal was to pass an eye test. No new picture necessary, nothing like that. I'd never worn glasses, and last time I checked my eye still registered a perfect 20/20. It's not bad for someone in their 40s. So I assumed that the process would just take a few minutes. Just a few minutes tacked onto all those I had already wasted in line next to people who smelled either of too little body lotion or too much. I got up to the front of the line at last, and the lady instructed me to put my face against the contraption through which they measure your eyes, you know, the one that resembles a pair of binoculars. I'd done this before, but I guess she meets with enough idiots each day that she's got to remind every new face of the proper procedure. So I leaned up against the device, and I waited for her to turn it on. Please read out the letters on line 5, left to right. Please turn on the machine, I said. There was nothing to see yet, just blackness. Please read out the letters left to right,